Let's understand the main issues that we have with the basic RAG flow that we just saw. We saw that if we send to the generation model the request without any documents retrieved, we still get an answer, but this answer is generic and not what we need. So overall, we need to make sure that the retrieval part is working well, that we retrieved all the relevant documents to generate the correct answer for a user. So the most sensitive part is the retrieval. Let's try to understand what do we mean by retrieval and the concepts of recall and precision. These are common terms in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and we need to understand what we mean here. This diagram may look overwhelming in the beginning, but we will go over there to understand those concepts correctly. So we have our knowledge base. Knowledge base contains all the documents, hundreds, thousands of documents that we have in the knowledge base. And when the user asks us a question, we have a set of relevant documents that we want to retrieve to answer this question. It's not 0 and 1. We have more relevant documents and maybe slightly less relevant. But overall, those are the documents that we want our system to retrieve. On the other hand, we have a set of documents that the system actually retrieved. There is some overlap between those retrieved documents and relevant documents, which are the relevant and retrieved documents. And this is what we call the recall and precision. So let's try to understand what you mean by a recall. Recall is how many of the relevant documents did we retrieve? That is, if there are 10 relevant documents and we retrieved 5 of them, we have a 50% recall. And the precision seems a bit similar, but it's on the other end of how many of the documents that we retrieved are relevant. That is, if we retrieved 10 documents and 5 of them are relevant, it means that we have a 50% precision. So if we put this kind of diagram of the use cases that we might have, so we might have low recall or high recall, or low precision and high precision. We will ignore the very bad low recall and low precision. This is usually not happening. And of course, we can, let's say, ignore for now. Of course, we want to get to the point where all the relevant documents are retrieved. But most of the times we will have this kind of a trade-off between improving the recall or improving the precision. That is, if we want to have a perfect recall, it's very simple. We can just retrieve all the documents in the knowledge base. Therefore, we will retrieve all the relevant documents. Maybe we'll have a very, very poor precision because only 1% of the documents are actually relevant, but we get a perfect recall. On the other hand, we can only retrieve one document that we are absolutely sure it's relevant, and we'll get a perfect precision. Of course, it will hurt our recall because maybe there are 10 other documents which are slightly less relevant, but are still relevant, which we missed, and therefore our recall score will be lower. So there is this kind of a trade-off. If you want to improve one, we're going to hurt the other and the other way around. But this is a important concept when we think about setting our threshold, that is, what is the minimal proximity that we want to retrieve documents, number of documents we want to retrieve. So these numbers will affect the balance between the recall and precision. Of course, all the time we will try to improve and get to the point where we are here, that we have high recall and high precision. But many times we need to live with low precision, which means that the answers will have general or mixed replies because of the non-relevant document that we retrieved. On the other end, if we have low recall, we will get only partial replies, since some of the relevant documents are missing when they are sent to the generation part. So overall, we need to understand this kind of a trade-off. We need to be careful when we are setting those thresholds or max number of documents, and we always need to think how can we improve this retrieval part, which is the core of our RAG application.